Hello, I'm Wayne DeBay, AIFD, and this is my wife.
And I'm Peggy DeBay, and welcome to Creations at the Flower Nook.
Hi, I'm Wayne from the Flower Nook. My wife Peggy and I welcome you to Creations at the Nook. Join us for a visual journey today. Let's go check out the artist on our back wall.
My name is Laurie Fritz Moravec, and I'm showing drawings, Zen doodle drawings, and handmade bead woven jewelry. I have this friend on Facebook, and she took a Zen doodle class or Zen tangle class, and she posted one of her pictures on Facebook, and I just thought, well, that is amazing. So I asked her a little bit about it, and she told me about it, and I didn't have time to take a class because I was really busy, so I just got on YouTube. And that's how I learn everything. That's how I learned to bead weave. That's how I learned to draw. And I just started drawing, and I liked what I did, and it looked really crazy, and I just loved it. I use pencils, Sharpies, microns, and Faber-Castell pit pens. Sometimes, if it's really hard, I have to draw it out in a pencil first, and also I use pencil for shading. It's like a puzzle for me. I get an idea of one piece of the drawing, just one pattern, and I draw that pattern, and then I build around it. I just look and see what do I think would go with this, and I think about it a little bit, and it takes me quite a while to plan it. Probably the planning is a couple hours. The drawing is anything from a week, 2 weeks, and if it's a particularly big one, longer than that. Well, I look at a certain element in the picture or the overall feel, and I name it that way. There's a lot of sayings I like and a lot of movies I like, and it reminds me of something in that movie or a saying, and that's how I name it. From everything. I find inspiration from people, nature. I really love geometric forms, and I might see some cool geometric form or something and go, wow, I should draw something like that. Well, what I really like to do when I'm really in the zone, and I'm really in the zone when I drink a beer, and then I smoke an electronic cigarette, and I have a drag, and then I start drawing. And it's the most fun and so relaxing, and I especially love to do it out on my deck. I do want to do more Zen doodles because they are the most relaxing thing I do. Now, the bead weaving is very relaxing as well, but the Zen doodles are actually a lot less expensive to make. And I don't have to pick out colors and match this and match that. I just have my black and white, and I go.
Today we're talking about the heliconia tropical flower. Now, tropical and exotic are two different things. Tropical is a geographical area. It's usually closer to the equator. They'd have to have a little more heat. This happens to be a beautiful heliconia, and the leaves are actually these red, wonderful lobster claw type things. The flower, the inside, is what we really have to look hard to see. So the leaves are called bract, B-R-A-C-T, and it's got a very heavy stem. So it takes an extra kind of a design to work with a heliconia. And then I brought in a little, this is a parakeet heliconia, much smaller, same thing. These are the leaves. The flower is actually inside, and you have to do some investigating to find out. And what do you do with heliconias or any tropical flower? You make wonderful designs with them. We've made one here to show you how fun they wind up working. They're long lasting. You can put them with several other things. And notice I put tomatoes in the bottom of this to add the color scheme all the way through. Anxious to see what Wayne shows you on designing with the heliconia today.
To use those sorts of blossoms, we need a very large container. You need a big vase. You can do this in the floral foam if you have the right foam and you have a big container, because the tropicals are visually as well as physically very heavy. So let's start with one of these beautiful lobster claw heliconia, that flaming red. There are other variations of it. And they've cut the leaves off of this. This had a leaf sticking out beyond it, so they've cut that off. And as they dry, they start to turn a little brown. I'm not a big fan of that. One way that I have learned to work around that is to take and to clip, use my Just for Flowers, which is a great little floral spray, and we will come in and we'll just put a little bit of color. And I would try to match the color of the blossom to the color of the stem so that I have a more finished end. It doesn't look like it's drying out quite as much. This, like I said, very heavy physically as well as visually, but you still need to apply some of the same principles you want to take. And I always want something on a little bit of an angle. This is so big that I can't really cut it with my knife in one pass. We're going to put them into the vase, and maybe two of the heliconia, the lobster claw. And again, we'll give it a little bit of a clip. Try not to throw it at you this time. Just a touch of color. This is one of those great color tools that Design Master has made for the floral industry, and I really do like working with it. So we've got a little bit of variation in the height of the blossom. Now, although currently the trend is to mix tropicals with more traditional blossoms, roses, carnations, the chrysanthemums, I still like to try to keep it mostly to a tropical arrangement when I'm working with them. And that includes foliages. We've got a beautiful split leaf philodendron leaf here that we're going to go ahead and try to put in the vase. And I'm going to take my Green Glow, my Leaf Shine, a lot of different brands. This just happens to be Green Glow. And I'm going to give it a fresh cut here. And I'm barely in the water, so when I finish this, I'll probably want to add more water, but that's back to that conversation about physical weight. If I fill this full of water, this is going to be a very heavy container to try to move. So I'll just bring it up an inch or so. They don't need to be filled all the way up. A little bit of a palm. This is I believe in the date palm family, a Robellini. And you don't have to gloss it, but I just like the way it looks. I think it's clean and nice and very shiny to have that going there. I also have some other fun foliages. This one is a product that we don't get all the time, and it is, I've heard it called whaleback or whale rib because of that rib. It looks kind of like the air ports on a baleen whale, I think is the reason that they've given it that name. Maybe another one of those. And I want to kind of do a side-by-side with that. I want it to reinforce one to reinforce the other. And this, I think, is just a great fun foliage. This is actually in the bird's nest fern family. It's a true fern, but it's got these finger-like ends on it. This has suffered a little bit of damage, so we will take our scissors and very gently clip the damaged portion away so that we retain that finger-like look to it. I'm going to go ahead and tuck that down in. And again, doesn't have to be all the way down in the water. We can leave it out just a touch. Well, it does need to be in the water. I shouldn't say it like that. It doesn't need to be to the bottom of the vase, as long as we know. Another one of these great foliages, this one, and I'm getting hidden here behind the arrangement. This is a flax leaf. These are a great ginger. And again, also tropical flowers. With these, we don't want to ever refrigerate them because they will get cold damage unless we have a cooler running in the 45 to 50 degree range. And mostly we try to keep our flowers more in that 35 or below so they will last. Again, we're going to go ahead and tuck some of these in. Give it a fresh clip. Maybe some of the parakeet heliconia. But before I get there, I want to show you this bad boy. This is in that same family as the lobster claw heliconia. This one is a draping or hanging heliconia, and it adds a whole different layer of interest to it. Same sort of treatment on the top. I'm going to give it a little bit of color just as a finishing sort of touch. Going to come in and put this in, and this is great in a design because it drapes out, it projects out of an arrangement. And I think the finishing touch will be a few of the parakeet heliconia. Adding a little bit of contrast. We're in mostly a red tone, and so we're going into this orange, and that adds some contrast to the arrangement and more visual interest, if you will. This is great for when you have a party, when you've got something that you need a fairly grand statement in your home or at an event. This sort of product works very nicely for that. If they're fresh, they have great vase life, should have 10 days, 2 weeks out of this, maybe longer, depending on how the humidity is in the area they are. So I hope that you enjoy this creation of heliconias and tropical foliages.
Corkie came about by, I don't know, quite a long process, to be truthful, and it was just one of those things that I wanted to keep the name as short and simple and as possible, and that's what it wound up being. There was a variety of choices, but that one kept coming back, and so that's what we went with. Just breakfast and lunch. I mean, we do everything but waffles and omelets and breakfast during the breakfast hours from 7 to 11, and it's tough to draw the line at 7, or at 11, I'm sorry, because people do want to eat breakfast all during the day, day and night. But we just have to draw the line because it's a small kitchen, and we've struggled with trying to serve everything all day, and so we draw the line at 11 for breakfast, start serving lunch until closing at 3, and that's just what works best for us, so that's what we go with. From day one, meatloaf has been the Monday main special. Tuesday, it's homemade chicken fried steaks, and we've tried various suppliers there too, stubbed their toe at times, and had to win some of the people back. It's been a trial and error process to find something that sold relatively well week in and week out that we could keep for a main special and add to with what we could, you know. And now we've got chicken fried chicken on Wednesday. We've added scalloped potatoes a couple of days as a choice, Swiss steak on Thursday, roast beef on Friday. We've always got a tilapia or a salmon patties or something else on Friday for the fish eaters, and hot beef sandwiches are available every day. Philly cheesesteaks are available every day. A lot of things are available every day, good burgers. But we have to have a main special, and those don't vary as a rule, as long as we find one that stays and sells. And we've tried this and tried that and found that those 5 that we have right now, in addition to hamburger steaks on Saturday, are about as good a combination as what we've had. So we have 4 that we make there, and we buy the strawberry rhubarb. We bake it there, but we don't make that one. I just felt like the need was there, and the opportunity presented itself. This particular location came up 2 or 3 times, and even though I'd preferred a bigger, better place somewhere else with its own parking lot and all that, this is what we have to work with, and we try to make the best of it. It's not for everybody. It's not everybody's cup of tea every day, but you know, we do a pretty good job with what we've got.
Thank you for watching Creations at the Flower Nook. We hope that you'll join us again. Please stop in and check out these creations and more at the Flower Nook at 208 East Iron, downtown Salina.
See you soon.